Story, and you're joining us today on our podcast, Yoga Story Express. And today I have a very special person and one that's been with Yoga Story for a very long time, Stephanie Kelly. Hi, Stephanie.
Hi, everybody.
And you know Stephanie as not only a badass yoga teacher, but she is also one of our sound healers. Stephanie has an accoutrement of different instruments, main ones being a whole set of crystal singing bowls. And if you're unfamiliar with sound healing, the concept is that there are frequencies and vibrations. So we know that it's just kind of a high level view that there's, everything's made of energy, right? And everything vibrates at different frequencies. So the concept of sound healing is that different vibrations create different effects within the body. And of course, Stephanie's going to expand on that a little bit more. So Stephanie, why don't you tell us about sound healing in general and why it's beneficial to someone? Like, why should they come try one of our sound baths that you and Rachel host, or Rachel's gong healing?
Right. Well, sound healing is the integration of modern science, ancient wisdom, music, and the healing arts, and it's a form of vibrational medicine, like Lynn just explained. And it helps balance all aspects of your being, your physical, your mental, emotional, spiritual. By using instruments and vocal toning, you use sounds and those vibrations, they can actually restore the balance and activate your body's natural ability to heal itself. We all have that inside, and when we're healthy, we can relax, we can start to rest and heal properly. And so sound healing is a great way to kick on your rest and digest phase, get you out of your fight or flight, and
fawn or freeze.
Right.
Fight, fawn or freeze, right?
Right.
That stress response, basically, where your adrenal glands kick in and produce cortisol and tell you to run away from the imaginary bear that doesn't exist.
Right, but since we don't have imaginary bears anymore, we are in tech world. We are still, worried about COVID or how to pay the rent and working and stress. So we live and eat it and for breakfast, and so it's become the new norm, and it's not normal and not healthy for us to live in that.
Yeah. Well, and we all know, kind of the effect that a good song has on our moods. So things, that bop that comes on the radio or the song of the summer and whatnot. But let's talk a little bit about how sound affects us on a cellular level. For example, there are, there's noise pollution.
Yeah.
So kind of the opposite of that feeling that you get from a good song that comes on the radio.
And sound healing will definitely counteract that. I need to explain bioenergy. And bioenergy is the energy produced by all living organisms. And so down on the cellular level, bioenergy is three components. It's sound, light, and scalar energy, which is associated with certain force. So you've got this dynamic, interactive energy that emerges from each cell all the time.
Yeah.
And then you think, and what it does is that it spirals that energy out of us, out into the environment, and then we have every other person on the planet, and their bioenergy is spiraling out, but it will spiral inward for you. And so is that kind of like when we talk about like when your frequency matches with someone else or your vibration matches with someone else, like you just kind of instantly get along with some people? And that might be. I'm not sure about that. Yeah, I know you get those certain feelings, but in a scientific sense, we have everything that is producing all of this sound. So noise pollution, meaning like cell phones and traffic noise, airplanes.
Yeah.
So all of that spirals into your body. And so here you have an assembly of cells, like let's say in your tissues, like your organs are this assembly of cells. And so let's say one cell gets off of its frequency. Well, what happens is that the neighboring cells, if they're stable and healthy, will systematically, collectively vibrate that cell back into its natural frequency.
That's cool.
But if you are depleted, then the vibrations are low, then you lose the stability, and that's what opens you up for disease.
And so that's kind of what I was referring to, is that we always talk about, like, as yoga teachers, raising our vibrations and doing things like meditation, eating healthy, earthing, and those things are always to raise cellular vibration levels, so that when you're interacting with other people, we kind of all collectively raise our vibration levels.
Right, and because the higher the frequency, the higher the vibration, the more optimized.
So you're saying that we can do that through sound as well.
Sound does that too, because it'll counteract those. Because you let's say an airplane flies over, and that could knock your cells out of their vibration, just because of the harmful sound for you. And so sound healing can restore those frequencies and restore those healing natural patterns.
Because I think we've all had the experience of, and some people are more sensitive to sound than others, where you just kind of maybe stressed from other things throughout the day, and some annoying noise just kind of sends you over the top for whatever, like, I guess for this reason, that you're already vibrating at a lower frequency, or you've knocked off some of those cells out of their vibrations. And then for me, it's, I've got a 3-year-old and a 14-year-old, and they start picking on each other and yelling and screaming at each other, and I just cannot even stand it.
Or the dogs barking.
Yes, that makes a lot of sense then.
And that's why you put on a good song. It makes you feel good. You start moving. It inspires you. So sound is really amazing, and it also acts as like a carrier wave straight to our consciousness. So sound just goes right into our consciousness, and that brings up the whole point of intention. So we are what we think, what we hold in our minds, what we believe. It's really powerful, and so sound can help raise that consciousness.
And if you've never experienced one of Stephanie and Rachel's sound baths, they bring in Stephanie's crystal singing bowls and Rachel's gongs, and you can literally kind of feel yourself vibrate from the sound waves that are produced. But you've got a new fun little tool that does that at a more amplified level. So why don't you talk to us a little bit about this vibra acoustic sound lounger?
Yes, it is amazing. It's profoundly effective, but it's a memory foam like lounger that has 4 transducers in it, and those transducers are hooked to an amplifier, and they actually vibrate and apply vibrations directly to your entire body. And then in your headphones, you have this music that has been written specifically to entrain your brain waves into certain rhythms. So like for helping you with sleep or creating a sense of bliss. And so you've got the high vibrations in your frequencies in your ears, and you've got the low constant vibrations on your body, and it gives you just a deep whole body experience. And it's really hard to explain to you how you will feel after you get off of it, because it's just amazing.
Yeah. Well, I've experienced it. I know that was a fishing question, because I've experienced it.
Right.
And it is really extremely unique. And we know as yoga teachers, the layperson may not know this, but we know as yoga teachers in our training with the chakras that there are certain frequencies assigned to specific chakras. So there are certain frequencies that kind of invoke or evoke a mood in this lounger. I think, which one did you put me on? Was it relaxation?
No, I had you on the alpha wave, happiness. And it makes you relaxed. I mean, it completely blisses you out. It's like this 3D experience, and you feel instantly relaxed and rejuvenated afterward.
And if you're not familiar with brain waves, as she said, the alpha wave, that there's alpha, beta, delta, and theta.
And gamma.
And so each one of them regulates different states of consciousness. One's alertness, one's relaxed, one's
Delta's
deep sleep.
Theta's creative.
Theta's creative, and gamma is...
Alpha's like usually when you're awake.
Yeah.
And you're functioning. And then beta's that high processing, and then gamma's when you're just totally blissed out.
Yeah, so beta's like a little bit more almost on the stress side too, or like super alert. It could be just like going for a run, or it could be that you're stressed out. Alpha's just awake and functioning.
Right.
Yeah, you're neither stressed out nor completely relaxed. And then theta, you said, it's creative, but I think that's also the sleep. Daydreaming, yeah. It's where we access nidra. When we do yoga nidra, that's what we access. And then gamma is kind of that state where we hit in meditation, that blissed out kind of
it's intellectual tasks that require your utmost focus. It's your memory enhancement, conscious control. And gamma waves can actually counteract depression and promote general well-being. That's why when you meditate, you can achieve that high sense of bliss and peace of mind and access that.
Yeah. Yes, and it's important for your brain to actually be able to access all of these different brainwave states. So the music that's being pumped through the noise-canceling headphones kind of help you do that.
Right, and it's got the rhythmic vibrations and the binaural beats in it. Now, binaural beats they communicate the left and the right hemisphere of the brain.
That's so important.
So they're like two sounds, but they're slightly different from each other, and it actually makes a perceived third sound, and that's called the binaural beat.
Yeah. And that's really important. So for those of you who are following our podcast, you may have listened to me and Milo talk on Yoga and Trauma Part 1 and Part 2 about right and left hemisphere of the brain. That ability to use both and stimulate both at the same time is really important for processing emotion too.
Right.
And to help the body heal from trauma. And just to be able to process emotion, period, because you have to be able to feel safe to do that. So that's really interesting that this also stimulates the right and left hemisphere of the brain as well, that binaural.
Yeah, because our cells are little molecules of emotion. They hold and store emotion just like our brains hold and store emotion.
And our bodies too.
Yeah. So when you're vibrated on this sound lounger, it actually will help you release the things that you've stored. And what I've heard a lot from people that get off the table is they feel lighter.
That's how I felt.
And just like their brain is not monkey mind. They're not trying to analyze that. They just feel lighter.
Yeah, because that's what we have to address these things in the body first. We do a lot of cognitive processing of emotions, and you really have to start with processing it in the body first to create a safe space for you to be able to cognitively process it in the brain. So it's really cool how this kind of fits in with other programs that we're doing here at Yoga Story as well. So we talked about the sound and the vibration. Go ahead. What did you want to say?
Oh, it's the new technology, and they have done tons of research on it, and it is helping with pain management, anxiety, depression, ADHD, PTSD, fibromyalgia, Alzheimer's and Parkinson's, and so many more. I mean, it's amazing when you get a full body experience like this. It just restores you to your natural balance. You feel peaceful and your mood is elevated. But you can, like I said, there's different songs, and each song is written and performed by this genius man who's done all this sound healing throughout the world. And he holds the highest intention in his heart, and so do all the musicians every time they write these songs. So the intention is in there as well. And
they're all non-lyrical songs. There's no lyrics to it, which I like that, because I think we need to be listening to more non-lyrical songs.
and they take you on this journey, and it's just so beautiful how they've got the frequencies weaved in there, and they just really, it's a whole body immersive bliss.
Yeah. Of course, we're not making any claims that this will, free you from all disease and whatnot.
Right. It doesn't. It's not in it.
But we do have the scientific research.
We do have the scientific research. They are having amazing results with this. Even autism, they're finding in this new study that it's really helping.
I'm sure it helps regulate some emotional instability that those people experience, or emotional dysregulation that they.
Well, there is a guy I know of that has one of these sound loungers, and he puts it in a van. And he's in Colorado, and he contracts with the fire departments there. And when someone is, wanting to kill themselves or talking about suicide, he will drive there and put them on the table in the van. And so far, he's saved 150 lives.
That's
so far.
Pretty cool. That's really, really
cool.
So,
just think about if we could put somebody on it, and it might save them from shooting up a school.
Oh, God. If we could just have these on every corner, please. Like
No,
a
but I mean-
payphone instead of
but I mean,
payphones, right?
Right.
Yeah.
If it's gonna elevate your mood, and so
Yeah.
it's just a 20-minute session.
Yes, we'll have 20-minute sessions that you can drop in or sign up for. And you and Lauren are also going to team up in August to offer the monthly special of a 30-minute massage and then a session on the table. So that will be just like full body, mind, soul bliss.
Yeah, you'll get the whole experience.
Yes.
Spiritual, mental, physical.
But it'll be a great way just for, if you're after class, before class. Stephanie is the expert on this, and she's going to train the rest of the staff to be able to do it as well. So we will be here with some pretty good hours for people to come in and out and to try this vibra acoustic sound lounger. And it will be the first of its kind in this area, and we're going to call it the Yoga Story Sound Lounge.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Stephanie, for not only your passion for yoga, but for sound healing and for just healing in general, because I think it's so important for us to move forward as a society as whole and healed
Yes.
people.
Yeah, and the more, thank you. I'm glad to be here. I just, you never know who you might touch, and it might just take one smile to just change their day, and that ripples out into the community. And if we can just keep sending out good ripples, then we can all be.
Then we can all elevate our consciousness and each other together, and hopefully save each other.
Right?
Yeah.
Thanks, everyone. We'll see you at Yoga Story.
Yes. Thank you, guys. This is Lynn and Stephanie for Yoga Story Express. Thank you for joining us today.